Hey everybody, welcome to the Journey Back with Tiffany Hunt. I am super excited today to discuss your relationship with yourself. But I do want to start off this video by saying thank you to those new subscribers. Thank you to the faithful subscribers that started at my very first video. Thank you to anyone that has watched. Thank you to everyone that has shared my video. Shout out to my womb sisters and Art Kathy for sharing my video in the womb school. I really appreciate your guys' love and support. Thank you to my family for supporting. I just want to thank everyone for their support and their feedback. I want to say, please, if you can, share the video with people that you know, share the video everywhere that you can. Also to please leave your comments on YouTube. I really appreciate all of your help. Again, all of your support. It does not go unnoticed. And I want to start by first responding to Kenya's comment on the previous video in reference to fear, saying that basically she feels pressured to call whatever she's doing as far as in reference to African spiritual systems, like what to call it and how to reference it when speaking with family. I will say this, a lot of times in Christianity, we always felt pressure to give answers about ourselves and try to explain ourselves to people and try to help them to understand us. And the important thing is you do what you feel most comfortable with. Don't let someone pressure you into doing something that you're not comfortable with. And you could just call it African spiritual systems if that's something that you are comfortable with. You want to make sure that your positioning or how you're feeling or what you're thinking is paramount in reference to how you live your life, because people are not going to understand. They're not going to always respect it, even if you do try to explain it to them. So just give yourself room to be yourself and let other people be who and what they are. And give yourself room, like I said, to be who you are and grow into who you want to become. Thank you again, Kenya, for your comment, and I hope that I gave you some insight or gave you an answer that you feel is applicable in your situation. Now, today we're going to talk about your relationship with yourself. I spoke in the last video and stated how fragmented and broken and basically raggedy our individual relationships are with ourselves. There are plenty of outlets and resources and books and different things like that, and people that are talking about relationships with other people. But the foundation of your relationships with other people first started, I always go back to parents, because those are the first people you knew, or whoever reared you, whether that be parents, whether that be adoptive parents, whether that be what's I gonna say? Maybe the juvenile system, where you got more attention from your teachers and things of that nature. But your parents taught you some things. The people that raised you and reared you. Sometimes that's extended family. That's not always your biological parents, foster parents. All those things shaped what your relationship with yourself looks like. And so I want to dive right in. What is, to me, at the foundation of a relationship with yourself is knowing who you are. And a lot of us don't know the details of history. And so if you don't know history, you're destined for the most part to repeat it. And then also dealing with the trauma and the pain that was previously experienced by our ancestors, as well as the problems and the trauma that was experienced by, well, our parents. Some of our parents are still here and some parents have transitioned on. So I would say even by your parents or people in your family that is still here, the things that they went through and did in their lifetime, it affects us. It affects you, and it's a trickle-down effect, simply because a lot of times, and most of the time, whatever happened in someone else's childhood, Either they repeat it, by not knowing how to do anything else, not learning a new skill, not pushing against maybe what is natural, because a lot of times what's natural is to do what's already previously been done. And it's challenging to push against the grain, you know, even if you know, even if you, because a lot of people say, well, why would they repeat the same pattern that their parents repeated? Didn't they know that it felt painful? Didn't they know that it didn't feel good, or it wasn't a good thing, or they had a bad outcome? They knew how they felt being abandoned or being neglected as a child. Why would they then go and neglect their children or abandon their kids? But when you have kids, it really makes you face yourself because a lot of times it's a miniature version of you, and your kids do have their own personalities in their own way. But a lot of times you are seeing yourself as a mirror, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. And that's not why always people shy away from it. There are plenty of reasons why people don't parent well. They don't have the skills to parent. They had children so young that they were extremely underdeveloped. They got older, but they weren't actually raised. They just grew up. Their chronological age got older, but their mental and emotional, basically their mental and emotional status was at the same. So your mental and emotional development may have stopped at 6, even though you're 36, and so there are things that you're doing at 36 that don't make any sense. Those are things that a 6-year-old would do. But people think because a person is chronologically older that automatically they're more wise or automatically they're better. And for some, that's true, but for a lot, it isn't, because most people aren't doing the self-work. And so you don't know your history about yourself. You don't know the history about your family. And so not knowing yourself really takes a hit at your relationship with yourself, because even in a relationship with somebody else, the first thing you want to do is get to know them. And most of us have not taken time, or we're not even taught how important it is to take time to get to know who you are, secure yourself in who you are, self-actualize, self-approve, and then go out and have relationships, especially intimate relationships with other people. Because once you begin to have relationships with other people, especially for women, and I can't deeply speak for men because I'm not a man and I don't know what that's like, but for women, it's easy to get lost and lose yourself in a relationship. It's easy to put down what your needs are. It's easy to neglect yourself and then focus all your attention on your family, focus all your attention on your kids, focus all your attention on your spouse, and you lose yourself, and you wake up one day like, who the hell am I? And what do I like? And what do I enjoy doing? Because I spend most of my time doing what other people need me to do. And so you've lost yourself. You didn't develop a relationship with self. You got married. And for me, I'm speaking from experience. I am 36 years old as of October 21st, and I've been married almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years on December 9th, which is Sunday. And I woke up and I said, wow, I don't have a relationship with myself. I don't always really know what I like. I know what I like sometimes materially, but what I also realized too is sometimes I would spend more time wanting to buy material things, or wanting to look at TV, or wanting to do other things to distract myself from looking at myself, and not even from looking at myself. I'm really great at looking at myself, to distract myself from dealing with what I saw that I didn't like, and I didn't really know, how to put the pieces together. And so what I started doing as a married woman is I started taking myself out on dates. I started taking stock in myself. And it is a process. It is a journey. It is a lifelong journey, getting to learn and know who you are, because who you are at 36 or 24 or whatever is different. You're changing through time, and so you want to always be embracing yourself. I don't even want to just say loving yourself, because to me the meaning of love is very subjective. To some people, they don't feel loved unless you cursing them out, yelling at them, punching them, putting your hands on them. Like, I've heard different women say, oh, he don't really love me because he ain't hit me yet. But that's what they saw before them as children. And so there's an imprint, like I spoke about in the fear video. There's an imprint in your brain, in your psyche, in your emotions, that this is what's normal, this is what's good, this is okay. And even though you're traumatized by it, it's still normal. It's normalized dysfunction. What I want to also ask is, how was the relationship with, I'm sorry, I got my notes down here, guys. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes and points that I want to make sure that I touch in the video. How was people's relationships with self modeled before you as a kid? Like, okay, what did your mom's relationship with herself look like? What did your dad's relationship with his self look like? Your aunts, your grandmother, what did their relationship with themselves look like? Or did you even see that model before you as something important or as a priority? You know, a lot of us, we have heard our moms and grandmothers say, because I know when I had my first child, my mom and my grandmother would always say, you know, you need to make sure you take care of yourself. You know, you need to take care of yourself. And although because I grew up in a beauty salon, so yeah, I saw people getting their hair done and having your hair done and having your hair just so in a certain way, and presenting yourself physically in a certain way was important. And that's it's a can of worms in reference to the whole physically part, but that I'm not going to open today. We'll unpack it at a different time, but you know, there's an importance to have aesthetic beauty. And I agree that a woman should present herself in a certain way, that you always want to look a certain way. And no, I don't always meet the mark. You know, sometimes I miss it. I'm a mom of almost 10-month-old, so my life is a little bit crazy right now, and I'm working on figuring it out. And so having your hair, specifically in my family, is a big deal. Having your hair a certain way and making sure your hair is just so is a big deal. And so I saw that as important. But what I didn't see is, okay, people going to the gym, okay, people making sure that they ate the healthiest meals for their body, you know. And so bad habits were passed down, but those habits weren't necessarily said to be bad because they were normal. But then I did see too, sometimes people eating for emotional reasons, or eating not with the purpose of nourishing the body or giving your body fuel, but specifically for comfort, you know. And a lot of times all of our moments and stuff are around the table to celebrate. You eat cake. To feel bad, you eat a pint of ice cream. You know, we see these images and these things before us all the time in TV shows, in lots of different commercials, in movies, in our homes, with our friends' parents, with our parents. You know, in our culture, it's just normal to eat for no reason at all. And so you are doing self-deprecating, and you're hurting your body, you know, by what you're doing, what you're putting in your body. And that is not loving yourself. That is not having a good relationship. Definitely not a good relationship with food. But the other part is, it's not a good relationship with yourself. The loving thing to do with yourself is to do the things that you need to do, and not always giving yourself what it wants. Because sometimes what you want and what you need are fighting against each other. They're at war. And so you have to be sober, and you have to be thoughtful and conscious and awake in your own life, so that you can make decisions that serve who you want to be. Because yeah, it's easy to continue to make decisions to serve who you are. The challenge is to make new decisions, or to create a plan and keep revising the plan if you need to. Keep revisiting it until you figure out what actually works for you, because what works for somebody else might not work for you. And it's not maybe that it may not work, maybe how you applied it didn't work. Because maybe you weren't diligent enough, or maybe you didn't give it enough time. You wanted to see quick results, but you know that you've had this issue for the last 30 years. So it's not easy to always snap your fingers and make a change. You can have the desire to make a change. You can have the information to make a change. But if you don't have the application, none of those things really are helpful, at the end of the day, at the bottom line. Now, if you're processing and you're making strides and changes and focusing on what you are doing good, you'll see yourself at the end. The journey may be a little bit longer, but the point is you're moving in the right direction. The other question I have is, what did you learn about yourself by how people treated you as a kid? Because how they treated you affects the way you treat yourself, because you are affirmed by your parents. You are, like a lot of people go to their parents for approval, or they desire to get that. Like if you have a significant other or somebody that you're thinking about having a serious relationship, you want to take that person to your family and see what their thoughts are on it and see how they feel about it. And so people are having kids, but they aren't really raising kids. And the kids are coming up as fragmented, broken, broke down, challenged, hurt, bitter, angry people because they weren't treated as people. Kids don't remain children. They grow up and become adults. They grow up and become parents. They grow up and become employees, employers, entrepreneurs, bums sometimes, murderers. People grow up from childhood and become adults, and a lot of times people don't see babies when they're having them. They see them as these cute little dolls that they can dress up and make them look cute, but you are shaping a whole human. You are downloading information into your kid's brain every time you're having an exchange with them. Every time your exchange with them is negative. Every time you're not saying something positive to them. And I'm not saying at all, don't discipline your kids. I'm not saying at all, don't have conversations with your children. But I'm also saying find balance. What I'm saying is to find balance in your conversations with them. Tell them positive things about themselves. Tell them things that they need to improve on. Tell them why you're having a conversation with them or why they're being disciplined. Even though you think that they might not get it or they might not understand or they're too young to comprehend, they're a lot smarter than what we give them credit for. And so give them the benefit of the doubt and have in-depth conversation. Like, to be honest with you guys, I have a 7-year-old. She was born on my birthday. And so everything in this 36-year-old brain that I have learned, especially in recent times, because it has made such a phenomenal, profound impact on my life, I'm trying to download into her brain. And no, she may not get it all. She may not understand it all. But in the recesses of her mind, when she gets older and she's in a situation, she'll remember. She will remember. And I touched on this by saying that how people treated you as a kid affects how you treat yourself. So then people treated you as a kid by saying, oh, you need to be seen and not heard. A lot of us heard that. Don't nobody, what you say don't matter, or what you need to, what your thoughts are on it, I don't care, or how you feel about it, it doesn't matter. So how do you suppress your feelings about your life? How do you suppress your feelings about yourself now? How are you burying yourself now? You are burying your voice now. But to be fair, your vocal cords were cut as a baby before you even had opportunity to develop them. And what I mean by that is a lot of times people just want babies to shut up, and stop crying and, hush up all that noise and stop doing that. But in essence, they've only been here for a very short period of time. And that is their only means and way to communicate. You know, babies do sometimes give off a little body language depending on how old they are, but that is their only means for communication. In the very way that they're trying to communicate with you or talk to you and let you know something, because it is an irritant and an adjutant to you and it's uncomfortable for you, rather than you being the senior and the older making the adjustment because of their immaturity. You want them to come up to your level, which actually is not very far if that's what your expectation is, because that absolutely makes no sense. But you want them to come up to so-called your level as a 36 or 26 or 20 some year old adult, and you want them to figure it out. You want them to be quiet because it is disrupting whatever it is that you're doing, and you're not willing to make the adjustment and make space for them and room for them to grow and adjust in this whole brand new world. You know, even the way we are taught to let a kid cry it out. No, the kid is crying for a reason. Rather that reason just be that they want to be held. Think about it. They were in your womb and in your body for 9 months. 40 weeks, they were in your body. So it is natural for them to want to be up under you. It is natural for them to want to be close to you. And so I implore you, before you have children, before you let a man impregnate you, before you impregnate a woman, think about these things. Am I willing to adjust my life to accommodate a child in a way that it is a healthy, loving, and thriving and striving environment for them? Or am I going to be too irritated and I'm going to be mean and I'm going to be nasty? And sometimes we mean and nasty to our kids because we're not happy with ourselves. That's just the truth of it. I'm going to say ouch first because I've been in that headspace. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect parent by any means, but I'm never too big to apologize to my kid, because I know what it feels like for somebody to make you feel small, for somebody to make you feel like what you have to say, how you feel, and what your needs are unimportant, undesirable, and not a priority, and they're not going to make space to make it a priority. And so you have to learn to prioritize yourself and show up actively in your own life. Show up for yourself by any means necessary. If you can't show up for yourself in a positive way 24 hours a day to start with, okay, start with an hour. Start with 15 minutes. Show up for yourself, because if you don't show up for yourself, your relationships with other people will mirror your relationship with yourself. And you'll keep having the same relationship and the same problems over and over again until you deal with it, until you face it. So wherever you go, there you are. You know, you don't want to move and jump from situation to situation. The same thing is going to come up until you deal with it. Burying it under the rug, you're going to keep tripping over that lump. You're going to keep tripping over it and end up falling on your face. You can end up breaking your teeth. And God knows what you look like with messed up teeth or no teeth in the front. Look a little rough. You know, I'm sorry. That was one of my last points. That literally your relationship with yourself and how you we teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. And I say that because when you're meeting somebody new, okay, and, you know, we teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. Like if you're meeting somebody new, they may see that, okay, she takes a little me time for herself every day, you know, so, okay, I know I need to give her that space. And we need to set boundaries, not as a means to keep people away, and sometimes not even as a means of just a self-protection, but as self-care. Self-care is so important. It is such an important thing. If you don't care for yourself, we have unrealistic expectations of other people. We are going after relationships with other people to fill the holes, and they'll never fill the holes. They won't. So before you even try to insert yourself in a relationship, take inventory of what your relationship with yourself looks like, how you really feel about yourself. Because all of us can give lip service. All of us can say the nicest, most greatest things about ourselves to other people and pump ourselves up and boost our ego up. But what does your inside look like? What does your internal moment to moment conversation with yourself look like? Oh, this is wrong with you. Oh, that is wrong with you. And you know me, you guys, I hope am learning me by now. I won't say that you know me, but learning that I'm definitely an extremely introspective person, and I really find it paramount in your life for you to definitely 100% look at yourself. Look at yourself. Listen to yourself. Take inventory of yourself. Find people that you can truly connect with that can see you beyond what you're saying. Some of us don't want to be that vulnerable, but then your life will suffer because of it, because vulnerability is necessary. Even if it's baby steps. Okay, I'm just going to be vulnerable with myself. And I'm going to say these particular things about myself that I like, the things about myself that I love about myself. And then I think there are some times, even going back to how certain characteristics about who we are were killed as children before we had opportunity for those things to develop and grow. Because I am naturally a talker. It's natural and easy for me to talk to somebody for hours. I am naturally somebody that wants to connect with people. But me and my mom, our personalities are very different. She can be off to herself and not deal with people for days on end. You know, she can be an introvert. And for me, I'm extremely extroverted. But for somebody that's an introvert, that can kind of get on your nerves or be a little bit annoying. You know, and even for me, I'm an extrovert, but there are times when, okay, it's a little bit too much noise for me because I didn't grow up in a house with a lot of people. So I'm used to a level of quiet, but I have 2 kids. So a lot of times it's necessary for me to make that adjustment. It's necessary for me to think about what I'm saying and how I'm saying and how I am handling my children because of how I feel. Because I don't want to mishandle them and kill the very thing that they need in order to be who they incarnated to be, because it makes me uncomfortable. So guys, again, I always want to give you fuel for action. Please take the information that I'm giving. Please take the homework. The questions are always homework, you know, for you to do inventory, for you to do some looking in your own life, and for you to, you know, come up with ideas or reach out to me for help to help you come up with a plan of action to attack your issues, to deal with your problems, to deal with yourself. And I don't mean deal with yourself in a harsh way. I mean to deal with yourself and handle yourself in a loving and caring way. Be loving to yourself today, guys. Be loving to those that are around you. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I know today's video is a bit late. I definitely still wanted to get it out today and be integral about that. But I try to do my videos when my house is quiet and everybody is asleep, so it tends to be extra late at night. But I thank you guys for your patience. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. I just want to send you guys a virtual hug. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share the video. Please like, please comment. I am excited about the feedback that I've gotten thus far. I am so grateful for who you guys are. I'm grateful for who I'm becoming to you all. And I wish you the very best. Have a wonderful rest of the week and a phenomenal weekend. Bye.